Hi, my name is Lisa McGarry. Welcome to another episode of Homemade Healthy. Today we're making almond flour pancakes, and they are delicious. Even my son, who's not wheat-free, loves them. First thing we need to do is separate 4 eggs. And so we're going to take our nice KitchenAid mixer, and I have this handy gadget that separates the egg whites, and we're going to just separate them out. And we're going to have dry ingredients in one bowl and wet ingredients in another. So we'll put our egg yolks in the wet bowl. We're going to add a couple items to that in just a minute. Now, I love this gadget. This makes life so much easier. There's another one. 2 more to go. Now this is a little bit more of a complex recipe than my other ones, but we love it. I make them every weekend and we always have leftovers, and they save really well in the fridge and freezer. So I think you're going to be happy with this recipe. And your kids are going to be begging you, if you have kids, or your family's going to be begging you to make them more. And sometimes the egg yolk likes to stick. There we go. 1 more. And then we'll be ready to mix the egg whites. Now when you're mixing your egg whites, what you want to do is make sure to get them to soft peaks. If you overbeat them a little bit and they're a little bit more firm, it'll still work. Okay, now we're going to take the whisking attachment, put it on our mixer. And it's loud. So I'm going to turn it on to high, and then when it gets to soft peaks, then we'll show you what's next. Okay, we've got it at soft peaks now. We're just going to turn it off and show you how this looks. Soft. Maybe a little harder than soft, but it'll be great. It'll work well. The next thing we're going to do is mix our other wet ingredients. So we need a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And I like to get all the good stuff, so we'll use the spatula here. We also need to add vanilla. So we'll use 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Like I said, this is a hit with everyone. Okay, that is our wet ingredients. And so we're just gonna whisk those together. And just get it incorporated. It doesn't have to be, you just want to break the yolks and get everything whisked together. And then next we're going to mix the dry ingredients. I have 2 cups of almond flour, and as I said in a previous episode, I like Honeyville, which is right here. This makes beautiful pancakes. We're going to do a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder. I like to bake. I needed a really big baking powder. So we'll do a teaspoon of each of those, and just a couple of turns of Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, and that just enhances the flavor. Then we need stevia, 1/4 of a teaspoon. A little bit of stevia goes a long way. If you're new to cooking with stevia, you'll learn that. And then we just want to mix that up. And then we're going to incorporate our liquids with our dry ingredients here. Excellent. Okay. And we're just going to mix this together. It'll thicken up a little bit. Something else to remember about gluten-free cooking, especially with pancakes, is the consistency is going to be very different than a traditional pancake batter. So I'll show you a couple of tips to make it look more like a pancake. So this is the consistency. And we're going to take that and incorporate it into our egg whites. Now you don't want to mix this in with the whisking tool. It'll break the whites. So you're just going to gently fold it in until it's all incorporated. Oh, it smells good. I forgot my cinnamon. We're going to add it now. We're going to use a tablespoon of cinnamon. This makes excellent flavor. Okay. Excellent. And we're just going to fold this in. And normally you would add the cinnamon to the dry ingredients, but you know, whenever's fine. And you can see it's kind of coming together. Oh, it smells really good. Incorporating nicely. Okay. Next, you want to have your griddle warmed to 350. You can use cast iron skillet and butter, a traditional skillet, like a stainless steel with butter. I like this because I like to make a lot of pancakes, and I can do that with this particular griddle. Now you want to make sure to use butter, and I'm generous with butter. It's nice to be free to use lots of butter these days. And I just grease the whole thing. Now it's going to be, there's a little trick to flipping these over. I actually bought a spatula that's about the size of the pancakes that I like to help with flipping it. So this is a nice size. This is the size of the pancakes I like. And then because it's thick, I use this to actually put it onto the griddle. So it's going to take patience. You're going to have to let them sit there for a minute to get browned on one side, or you'll be frustrated because they'll fall apart. My 10-year-old hasn't quite got it down yet. So when you go to spread it on, you take, you know, a spoonful, and it's kind of like a shaking motion, just like that. And the baking powder and baking soda will help it rise a little bit. They don't stay tall, but they look really pretty when they're cooking. And I'll just normally I do 6, but I'll do 3. That way they'll be prettier. And as you can see, I'm just kind of wiggling them, flattening them out. And you can make, you know, silver dollar size. You can make whatever size you want. Now they're not going to be like traditional pancakes and have the bubbles in them, and you know when the bubbles are there, that's when it's time to flip them. It's basically a test in patience. And you can kind of start seeing the edges getting cooked and browned, and that's when you'll know it's time to flip them over. Okay, so we've now waited patiently and they're ready to flip. And there's a little wrist motion and oh, lovely. Last one. Okay, now they need to wait on this side as well. So once again, test in patience. And I like mine almost a little bit crunchy, so I'll flip them back over for a minute and try to get them a little bit more crunchy on the other side. But I don't know if you can see this, but these things are swelling. They are tall right now. And as I mentioned, they won't stay that way, but they look amazing and they smell really good. So we made 12 pancakes, and I'm going to show you here. Ta-da! Aren't they beautiful? The kids love them. I love them, and it smells amazing in here. If we only had a way to get the smell to you through the computer, it would be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed today's segment. I'm going to make coconut flour banana pancakes in the next segment, so stay tuned. Thank you.